Most poker in America looks the same. 2 cards face down, 5 cards in the middle. The best hand wins? At the Bellagio in Las Vegas. That hand can start at a $100 table. You can also sit at a table where $500,000 can disappear in a single session. What actually changes level by level isn't just the money. It's what it takes to get a seat. At the bottom, you need $100 and somewhere to put your name on a list. At the top, money is necessary, and it's not enough. 7 levels. One question underneath all of them. What does it take to sit down? Level 1. The Waitlist. Bellagio's current $1/$3 no-limit game runs with a $100 to $500 buy-in. Always running, no application, no vetting. You call ahead, put your name on the public waitlist, and wait for a chair to open. Low-stakes, no-limit cash wasn't always this ordinary. One veteran high-stakes player recalls helping start a flat $100 buy-in game at the Mirage back in 1998. The format modern visitors now treat as the most unremarkable thing in the building used to be the exception. At this level, the casino is working for you. They want bodies and seats. The barrier to entry is a door and a stack of chips. At level 2, the door stays open, but the players sitting behind it start getting harder to keep up with. Level 2. The Bankroll filter. Still public. Still a wait list. Bellagio's $2/$5 runs, $200 to $1,000. Wins runs up to $1,500. Nobody checks whether you're good enough to sit down. Here's what the sticker price hides. Standard bankroll guidance calls for 20 to 40 buy-ins to play this stake sustainably. Applied to a $1,000 maximum buy-in, that's $20,000 to $40,000 you should actually have behind you, not the $1,000 in your pocket. Players who move up describe the shift bluntly. Noticeably more aggression, more studied regulars, fewer complete beginners, even though the door never actually closed to anyone. The table has no bouncer. Variance functions like one. At level 3, showing up with the money stops, guaranteeing there's even a game to join. Level 3, the game that might not exist. Venetian lists $25/$50 no limit with a $2,500 minimum, no maximum, and marks it occasionally running. Not always. Occasionally. This is the first genuinely strange level. At $1/$3, your problem is finding a seat in an existing game. Here, your problem is finding enough other people to create the game at all. One billionaire can't start an 8-handed table alone. The seat stops searching for you. You start searching for the seat. And for 7 strangers rich enough to want the same table on the same night. It's the poker equivalent of walking into a dealership with cash in hand and being told the car is available. They just need 7 other buyers before the engine starts. At level 4, the room itself has a name and a history. Level 4, Legends Room. Bellagio's high-stakes room opened in 2004, named for Bobby Baldwin, the 1978 WSOP main event champion, who went on to lead Bellagio's operations. Renamed the Legends Room in 2020. There's no formal membership test here, nothing you can point to and call a rule. What's real is the ecosystem. Historically, games here have carried minimums around $20,000. In 2018, Gus Hansen logged 652 hours at the table across 70 days. In 2019, Patrick Antonius reportedly dropped $500,000, playing $6,000/$12,000 Omaha high-low. Arriving with $20,000 doesn't guarantee entry into the specific game you came for. The room isn't magical, the game is, and you still need it to be running. With the tiny handful of players, who can support it actually in the room? Long before Bellagio, this same informal high-stakes circuit, poker's so-called big game, had drifted through Sam's Town, the Horseshoe, the Four Queens, and the Mirage. It became legendary through decades of accumulated behavior, not a membership charter anyone signed. At level 5, the casino stops just hosting the game. It starts deciding who gets to hear about it. Level 5, the invitation. At level 5, poker leaves the public floor and enters the casino's private customer system. Wynn's 2026 Poker Invitational is the cleanest proof in this entire ladder. Entry required being an invited Wynn Rewards member, and separately having at least $200,000 in front money deposited with the casino, or a $200,000 credit line. Read that twice. 2 conditions, both required. You can deposit the $200,000 and still not qualify, because the rule doesn't say $200,000 gets you in. It says invited guest plus $200,000. Front money isn't a fee. It's cash you've placed with the casino specifically to gamble with. Proof you're the kind of customer who puts real money into action. Even after meeting both conditions, Wynn reserved the right to add up to 15 more players entirely at its own discretion. No formula, no explanation required. At every level before this, if you had enough money, a seat existed somewhere. At level 5, for the first time the money is necessary and genuinely not sufficient. At level 6, the buy-in is $1 million, and the real question isn't whether you can pay it. Level 6, the broadcast. Hustler Casino. Live's $1 million game moved to the World Series of Poker in 2026. A $1 million minimum buy-in, live streamed to hundreds of thousands of people. On June 12th, the actual game played at $1,000/$2,000 blinds, with a $5,000 big blind ante, and nearly $12 million sat on the table across the session. Alan Keating and Martin Caberhel played a $2.8 million pot, Keating shoving roughly $1.35 million with King-Queen against Caberhel's dominant Ace-King. They ran the board 3 times. Caberhel took 2 of 3. It's the second largest pot in HCL history, behind Tom Dwan's $3.1 million hand in 2023. By this point in 2026, Keating had won 5 straight sessions, up $3.86 million cumulative. That streak is exactly why he's in the lineup. In 2024, Tom Dwan, one of the most famous players alive, was pulled from $1 million game starting seats over what the producer called player politics. $1 million buys eligibility. It doesn't buy the chair. Someone still has to decide the table is better with you in it than without you. At level 7, there's no broadcast, no lineup announcement, no public path in at all. Level 7, the trust. At level 7, the poker room disappears completely. Only the table remains. Molly Bloom's private Hollywood games are the most thoroughly documented version of this level. An early game opened with a $10,000 buy-in. A larger one started at $50,000, putting $500,000 on the table before the first hand was dealt. By her own account, professional players called begging for seats. Some offered cash outright, others offered a cut of their winnings with no downside to her. She refused. Letting elite pros in would have wrecked the exact chemistry that made the game valuable. Then a new player, referred by a contact in Vegas, wanted in. Because she wouldn't extend him credit on his first night, he showed up with $250,000 in cash and $500,000 in Bellagio chips. $750,000 just to buy in. He had more than enough money. He still had to prove himself first. There's no waitlist here, no room to walk into on your own. By her own later account, Bloom vetted every prospective player heavily. Background checks, financial checks, before anyone ever saw a card. The game exists because someone already inside decided it should, and decided you belonged in it. If they don't call, you never even learn it happened. At level 1, the casino wants you in a seat. At level 2, you need the bankroll. At level 3, you need the bankroll and the right night. At level 4, you need the bankroll, the right night, and the right game to be running. At level 5, you need $200,000 in front money, a history with the casino, and an invitation. At level 6, you need $1 million, and someone has to decide you're worth watching. At level 7, you need someone already inside to decide you belong. The deck was the same. The stakes changed. The gatekeepers changed. The room changed. What changed, at every step, was what it took to sit down. At the bottom, $100 and a name on a list. At the top, a phone call you have no way to ask for. Subscribe if this landed. Every week, I break down the systems where enough money is only ever half the answer.